Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another game in the Coronation Cup 2 series between Gummibaer and Fredi. And this is one of the most anticipated series in the early stages of this tournament, because we've seen in the Couch Cup previously that those two players can really make for some very, very nice matchups and for some very interesting and really hype games overall. So, of course, Fredi spawning here in the blue, Gummibaer having his namesake color with having the green colors over here, and of course the map is Nomad, as is every first map in this tournament. And on Nomad, for new players, you start with 3 villagers scattered around the map, and you need to find a place to place your town center, and then produce from that more villagers and expand your empire. And typically people or players start with a town center and also a dock. But there is one difference here, one trap for newer players, and that is if you are the Huns, you don't have enough wood to build a dock right away. But luckily Fredi, now being an experienced player, knows this fact and in fact did not go for a dock, but just placed the town center, so he is completely fine. And the Huns have a very nice bonus that they don't need houses for their population, so he will never have to build any house in this game. However, he will need to send out a villager at some point, maybe out here, to place down a dock and get the fish going. And the other advantage here is, I think in Definitive Edition, this advantage has been exaggerated a little bit, because there you're now able to use this villager that built the dock to also collect some shorefish, and with that the players actually get enough food. So you see that Gummibaer already has 40 food in the bank to produce a villager. Whereas Fredi, who is not gathering food, won't have enough food to get that villager. So he has to go onto these ostrich earlier, and the villagers kind of messing the hunt up a little bit, but it's not too bad. Second one will join this villager gathering food from this ostrich. Now let's talk about the civilization of Gummibaer. He has the Turks. So formerly I would have said that they are pretty bad on Nomad. However, nowadays with their scout bonus, where the scout get extra pierce armor, I would say they have some additional options. And also what they have is they have the Janissary as the unique unit, which you can produce from the castle. And nowadays, this kind of fast castle into castle drop unique unit is a very viable and common strategy on Nomad. So I think the Turks nowadays, a decent Nomad civilization. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, as for map position, you can see that the players are rather close, and at least Fredi, which doesn't know where his opponent is, and Gummibaer should now know where his opponent is, I think, because he sees these ostrich in the fog of war. Gummibaer has some nice resources. He has stone here, gold over here, whereas Fredi has some stone and gold a little bit far away, and more stone and gold pretty far away. So he has the much worse option. So something that could be devastating here, honestly, would be if Gummibaer were able to deny gold and stone from his opponent, which he could do. So he could actually go, do that with maybe some scouts, or he just focuses on his economy because he had to dock up early, so he has more fishing ships. 3 are there already, whereas Fredi only has 1. And we can see that reflected in the village account. You see that Gummibaer has the advantage with 3 extra villages. So you can see that the Huns really, they have this kind of problem on Nomad. I think that also that Fredi build order was not perfect. He might have, instead of going for wood early, he should have maybe gone for food a little bit earlier. But I'm actually not sure about the specifics. But you can see that since you don't get these civilizations quite often, you're sometimes not sure what the perfect build order is. But speaking of villager difference, look at this. Gummibaer was 3 villages ahead, and now he's basically Fredi has caught up. So I don't know what happened there. Gummibaer must have idled his town center or idled his villagers. It's kind of falling apart a little bit for him. He has now a mill over here on the berries and also the ostrich, so that is very nice. And he actually has a boar right underneath his town center. And instead of taking that boar, which is really fast, he's really going out this far. And that's a little bit questionable on him, I have to say. Now let's look at the scouting over here. Pretty decent scouting, and I think he realized that something is up, so he's building the outpost. One thing to note about outposts is that their line of sight in Dark Age is pretty bad, actually, so as you can see here. But once you reach Feudal Age, actually the line of sight of outposts increases. I don't know why the developers put that in. It's a very rarely seen interaction. But on Nomad, it's actually quite common because people start to build these outposts very early. Now, villager numbers are dead even, and I'm really surprised by that. What did Gummibaer think? And another thing, if you want to streamline your Nomad build, you should actually, since you know that this villager will at some point run out of shorefish, you should always set this villager to an additional task using shift clicking, because in the beginning of the game you have a lot of time, so that's something you can just already think about. Now Fredi is coming forward with a villager. He will scout the position of Gummibaer, and he just missed the position, but I think once he moves around here, no, I think he will not see Gummibaer, and that's kind of a lucky break. Look at this, and Gummibaer also doesn't see the villagers here at the berries. That's very interesting. So the player is really kind of playing hide and seek here. Just by one tile, Fredi does not see Gummibaer. That's so interesting. Look at this. This tree is being chopped, but he can't see it. But now he finally moves into the right direction, and he sees the villager, and he goes further, and he could lose this villager here if Gummibaer reacts. And Gummibaer is just a little bit too late with that. Now barracks are up for Gummibaer, so maybe he wants to go for some Dark Age aggression, which could be decent here. On Nomad, generally, militia are not so strong because, as you can see, even the wood line is covered by the town center, and even these berries here are covered by the town center. So it's maybe not the best strategy, but he probably already prepared this for the next military building, which he will need to produce. Unfortunately, Gummibaer is housed, and Gummibaer is not up to the next age. Instead, he has queued 3 more villagers and militia. And look at this. Fredi already on the way up to the feudal age, so he will be able to pump out some fire galleys. He's already preparing the second dock, so he will be able to demolish the ship, the fishing economy of Gummibaer Grün. And Gummibaer Grün, now he's getting some militia, but honestly, since everything's in the range of the town center, I don't know if this is so strong. The only thing he could do is maybe deny this gold if he knows about this, but I'm not sure if he realizes that. And instead of going for militia, he should have just gone up and gone for scouts, to be honest. Yes, you're against the Huns, which have these fast-working stables, but your scouts have +1 pierce armor, so it's really not bad. And now let's see if these militia can find some damage. So there are some ex-villagers here in the mill, but as you can see, Fredi just reacts, and the villagers are safe because the town center is just right there, and now these militia are basically doing nothing at all. He can try to see if he can snipe some villagers here, but nothing to be had over here. Finally, Gummibaer is on the way up to the next age, but if we go to the point of view of Fredi, you can already see the galleys are on the way, and it's interesting that he's going for galleys instead of fire galleys. Maybe because he knows that he's the first up to the next age, and the galleys are typically a little bit stronger against fishing ships, so they can take them out a little bit easier. So maybe he's already thinking about that, because if you look at the tech tree of the Huns, yeah, they do get the fire galleys, so interesting choice there. But let's see. So this is where, if Gummibaer had scouted this gold, he could have actually dealt some damage with these militia. But since he didn't, it's really not a good position to be in. Now I think the galleys are out, and this will be a disaster for Gummibaer. Now even his villager here building the dock will get shot from the shoreline. The dock is being denied, and things are kind of falling apart. But now the militia are coming to the gold, but Fredinovic reacted in time, putting down those walls. Very, very nicely done. And now I think Gummibaer should not waste some time. He just needs to attack the palisades. The palisades are still very weak, and if he gets the man-at-arms upgrade, which I'm sure he can afford, then this should be rather easy. Now, also building this tower here is Gummibaer. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is gonna do too much because Fredi can just rush it down. He can just... I mean, this is also okay, but better reaction would have just been just rush it down, just punch it down and kill the villager. Yes, there are some men-at-arms over here, but yeah, Gummibaer would have had to react. And now this tower is cancelled. The fish has been ousted from their position, the fishing ships of Gummibaer Grün, and everything's falling apart. And instead of focusing on something useful, he is producing more men-at-arms. I'm kind of questioning this. Yes, he wants to break through here, but I don't know if this was the right choice. And here you can also see why this tower placement was not great. He should have instead just focused on the gold, make sure that your opponent cannot take any gold anymore, and that would have been much better. But look at this. This actual man-at-arms is being attacked diagonally by the villagers. That's so stupid. Sometimes that can happen in Definitive Edition. It's really a bug, in my opinion, because this should not be possible. In any case, now Fredinovic with a pretty good score lead and also with a 10 villager lead because he has killed the fishing ships. He has his own fishing ship still alive. Gummibaer only has 4 alive, and I think Gummibaer is now on the way to the castle age. Indeed, so this will give him some power spike. He now finally broke in, but did not get any villager kills, but he will get that villager kill because Fredi is not paying attention that there is a man-at-arms underneath his town center. That is hilarious over here. So Fredi now has the problem that he does not have any gold income and no access to it, and basically he's just chopping a lot of wood and gold, and he's not up to the next age. He can afford it, he has enough gold. He has the buildings, but he doesn't have the food for some reason, which is rather interesting. Now he's running into the town center range of Gummibaer, who needs to react. So far he is not reacting at all. Gummibaer also still has some sheep underneath his town center. And what is Gummibaer doing? Where are you looking? Where are you looking? You will lose your own villager underneath your town center and let your opponent get off free. What the hell, Gummibaer? And I think, yeah, this one goes down, and this one might go down. No, it doesn't go down. It looks like it's still in range, but no, that's not the case. Now, a late tower from Gummibaer. This is a mistake, definitely. Instead of a tower, what you need is a castle here, because you want to produce Janissaries. Janissaries are just so strong. They also have 8 range, so they outrange town centers. So you can also kill town centers with them. They're strong against mangonels also. So instead of wasting the stone on the tower, I would have preferred if he went for a castle. And now this gold situation is getting really precarious as the first knight of Gummibaer arrives to the scene and is killing some villagers. He still has these men-at-arms alive, and the tower of Fredinovic actually doing a little bit of damage, but not too much. And Gummibaer is coming back into this game now, having only 32 to 39 villagers, but he really needs to think about his production. Look at this, his complete production is empty. Now finally queuing up some villagers. Also, I think he wanted to redock here, but it didn't happen in the end because the galley of Fredinovic was already there, and the fish is very important on Nomad because it's just free food economy. And even though if your economy is being attacked and also your income is being denied, you still have this income that is not being tampered with by your opponent in the fishing ships. But more knights and men-at-arms are here. Another tower going up here for Gummibaer Grün. Some spearmen are out, but overall I think the spearman just goes down. Another villager will get killed here probably by the knight. Yes, indeed. And Yeah, it looks like Fredi is being cornered here, but what Fredi is doing, he is now heavily on stone, and so what he will be doing is place a castle. Maybe he deletes the mill or something to place a castle right here to shoot down both towers, or he's even a bit more aggressive and places it somewhere in this corner to also range the, if you can call this, economy of Gummibaer. So looks like Gummibaer has learned something from Food Please here with this kind of Food Please-esque economy with like nothing. Also, still 3 sheep. You should really take the sheep if you have it. It's free food. Now we have more villagers going forward, but I think Gummibaer is getting ahead of himself. I think he should just lay back a little bit. Still keep up the aggression, but don't just sacrifice villagers and military units. As also he does not have many resources, you see no food because he doesn't have the fishing ships. He still needs to transition somehow. Has a mill over here with some villagers. Still not taking the sheep underneath his town center. Now getting another mill over here. And then he has another mill over here, but this mill that he wants to build is being ranged from the shoreline. So I'm questioning why he's not taking the boar. He can just take the boar. Instead, his villagers are getting massacred here by the galleys. Oh my God, this is disastrous. What is happening here, Gummibaer? He had the advantage in this game for the last minutes, and now basically all of that is gone, and these villagers are still in peril because the galleys can just sit here and range everything. And these villagers he sent forward, as I said, that's too ballsy. They will also go down. This one goes down. These two will go down. And at this point, Gummibaer can just call the GG. Look at this, Fredi, 45 villagers. He is stabilized. He's getting a second town center. He has the fishing ships. He has the galleys. He has killed all of these villagers. Oh my God, Gummibaer. Focus on the basics. Focus on the basics. Don't try to be a better Food Please than Food Please. I know you want to be the guy that does the all-out aggression and then in the end wins, but that just doesn't work like that. And now this knight is getting picked off, and yeah, I think at this point, even though still Gummibaer has some angles of attack, he will be able to kill the market of Fredi. But at some point, if we look at the stone count of Fredi, okay, now he's not that heavily on stone anymore, but he has a second TC, so he can just go the economic route. He has 11 more villagers. This knight won't do much, will get killed by the spearman and the town center. Another knight here in the woodline. This is very nice, but no upgrades. So, okay, he doesn't have the food economy, but something that the Turks can actually do is go for light calf, because the upgrade is free. You get the extra pierce armor, and then you don't need to get so much gold. But yes, he's anyway struggling with the food economy, as we've seen down here. So yeah, what is this? Not finishing the mill. Now he's doing this long distance gathering from the carcass of the boar. It all falls apart now. 1,000 score difference. We have the spearman out. And as I said, like, if he had just focused on like get more gold, just buy it. I mean, look at his gold count. He could have just bought 200 more stone, collected a little bit more. He could have castle dropped right here into Fredi's face and pumped out the Janissaries, and then there's no easy counter. That's the nice thing. For the knights, yes, you can counter them. You have the spearmen, yes, they're shitty, but they can still counter the knight if there's only just a few. And for the Janissaries, that's much tougher. So I would have really preferred that. And yeah, now finally Gummibaer having the second town center. But I think at this point, it might already be too late. I think triple ranges, is it gonna be cav archers? Let's switch over. No, it's crossbows. I think that's also a mistake from Fredi. I think in this situation, why not just go for cav archers? You have more mobility. Look at these archers, they're pretty slow. I mean, he has to really run all the way around and hit this. With the cav archers, he could have been just a lot faster, and with the right economy setup, which I think he almost has, he can really pump out cav archers from 3 stables at a time, or from 3 archery ranges at a time. But yeah, still this disaster here is going on. Gummibaer, what is he doing? Is it the baby drop that's making him play like this? Like losing all villagers here. It's a mess. It's like 12 villagers went down here. So these villagers that collected food didn't even like pay themselves in terms of food cost, in terms of food collected. And now this mill will just get shot down, and I don't really see it anymore for Gummibaer. He had some good moments, but he was just a little bit too cute with his attack, a little bit too ballsy. This tower was too ballsy that he placed over here, then sending 3 villagers forward over here, too ballsy. Also, I think Man-at-Arms, or the militia did nothing in the beginning, and then the Man-at-Arms did a few things, but I think the other options would have just been much stronger here. And now we have a couple of spearmen defending, and then we have the crossbowmen looping around trying to find something. But there is no economy anymore for Gummibaer because it all went down to the galleys. And now we see what I said. Fredi was heavily on stone. Now he finally has enough, and he drops the castle. And this is exactly where Gummibaer's castle should have been. He has the stone next to his TC. He should have just gathered from that. And now it's all too late. This castle will just shoot down the tower, shoot down all the other buildings, and then he can just he just needs to build a siege workshop and push Gummibaer completely out of the game. Now on the other side he has the crossbowmen. Crossbowmen have the +2 attack. They don't really need the armor upgrade here, and he can just sit here. He can just put them on stand ground and just sit here while he focuses on the other side. And there's nothing that Gummibaer can do. What can he do here? He has nothing. He doesn't even have... Oh, he has an archery range, but does he really want to? Yeah, he is Turks. He cannot even go for elite skirm. So really not many options there. And yeah, I think Fredi can just sit here and wait. More crossbows coming in, ranging the wood line, ranging these farmers. Desperate escape here by Gummibaer, but Fredi has this game in the bag, and this is amazing. Fredinovic, if you recall his first games, really like a noob, like didn't know what to do, and now look at him. He's firmly in the driver's seat. He knows what to do. He dealt with the aggression of Gummibaer. Granted, I think that the start was not optimal and the initial reaction to the aggression, but overall, he was firmly in control of this game. He has the castle over here. As I said, shoots down the tower. Now it shoots down the barracks, will shoot down the archery range. And what does Gummibaer have? He has 1 knight in production queue and 1 fire galley. But that's not going to be enough. Look at this. There's 9 galleys over here. Finding another cheeky mill of Gummibaer. I think Gummibaer has learned his lesson that he should never, if he lost water, never just send villagers out directly to the shoreline. It's just not a good idea. And the only thing that could save Gummibaer now is like a juicy mangonel shot, but he doesn't even have a siege workshop. The knights are not going to do anything. They only have +1 attack, +1 defense. If Fredi micros correctly and brings those other crossbows in, okay, but actually knights taking good engagement because the crossbowmen decided to move downhill. But even so, Fredi can just afford to lose the crossbowmen. He doesn't even care, and it looks like he's not even able, or Gummibaer is not even able to kill all these crossbowmen, even though he got a good big engagement in the beginning. But all the knights go down without the +2 defense. Knights are just so weak, and I don't know why Gummibaer is not calling it at this point. Fredi has double the score. Fredi has the water, Fredi has the land. Yes, we have some fire galleys, but honestly, who cares about that? If you have castles in your face, some trademark food please economy here by Fredi, but who cares? He has 74 villages to 35. Gummibaer has barely climbed above that value in the entire game, and we're just waiting for some siege here. I think that Fredi is a little bit too comfortable in the situation. Like the very good players could come back from this if he gives them so much time. So what he still really needs to drop is a siege workshop here. But he's probably always missing the wood because he's probably producing from the archery ranges. No, he is not. He is actually going for water or building war galleys. That is a mistake here. If you look at the score, you should just realize that you're very, very, very far ahead, and that the only thing that's keeping your opponent in the game is basically these town centers, and you should just start pushing them. And one way to push them, which also only costs wood and gold, which he has en masse, is going for siege. Just put a mangonel here, behind the wood line even, protected by crossbowmen, shoot down this town center, and then you can destroy more and more of the economy of Gummibaer. Instead, he's like letting himself being dragged into another pointless water fight, which, yes, he will win, but it's just a distraction here. Especially since all of his fishing ships are actually idle. So not too much to be done here. Now finally he's going for the siege workshop and also another castle, which will be able to shoot down this town center, and then I think it's GG, and then Fredi could try to just go up to the castle age, but yeah, he has no food because all these farms are not populated, so there's no villager taking this farm, no villager taking this one, no one taking this farm. So that's maybe a tip for newer players, is if you build a castle, so if you build this forward castle or this forward siege workshop, what you want to do is maybe take some wood villagers, because usually you have too much wood villagers instead of the farm villagers, also because it's much more difficult to then remember to put them back on the farms, because what these other farms villagers will do, if their farm runs out, they will just move to the next one, and then essentially you don't remember that you had a farm there. Now Fredi also going up to the Imperial Age. Nothing coming out of the siege workshop so far, but that is just a matter of time. Now Gummibaer on the other hand, now booming up to 36 villagers, you wouldn't believe it. Still clinging on, hanging into the game. Now evacuating with these villagers, building another town center on this side. Although, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like this location necessarily, because this gold is pretty safe, so he's still able to get the gold, and what he really needs is food. If you look at this, he has 6 villages on food, and if he wants to expand his economy, which is the only way back into this game, he really needs food. So he should maybe just place it next to the wood line, with a little bit of distance to the gold, and then just place a couple of farms, and also maybe take the sheep. I know Gummibaer is not the biggest fan of sheep, but yeah, you should take them at some point. Finally he's taking some here, and finally we see some Janissaries, and look at this, they have 17 attack, 8 range, and he could have had those in the early castle age, and only if you have five of them, you can just sit outside of the town center range and just harass your opponent, and the opponent is basically can basically do nothing, because look at this, mangonels have 7 range. So actually you can easily counter the mangonel with just a couple of Janissaries. Now finally this town center is being shot down, and this town center is still there, but I think that Fredi will reach the Imperial Age in a second, and maybe we will see the GG then, because Gummibaer must realize that there is no chance for him to come back into this game when Fredi is already in Imp. Now also this town center, or this blacksmith is being shot down, and the archer range will be shot down, so yeah, I don't really see it. Now traps coming out, bracer on the way for the crossbowman, still Fredi pumping out the villagers, yeah, not really necessary anymore. I think that Gummibaer really hopes for these lucky mangonel shots, but now with bracer, also the crossbowmen have 8 range, so they can outrange the mangonels. And now we see some Janissary action. I really love this unit. It's a really strong unit. But it's just way too late. But you can see that it counters the spearman, so it's not that easily countered like other units. Even though they're pretty inaccurate, there was a recent buff to gunpowder units where the projectiles are a little bit faster, and that actually helps with hitting targets. And now we're just waiting for this game to conclude. Gummibaer is always kind of dragging things a little bit too long maybe, but I can also understand him. He wants to warm up warm up a little bit more for the next games, and also you always have this feeling in the back of your head that maybe there's a chance. But no, as we can see, there's no chance, but we're able to see a juicy mangonel shot and some hits from the castle do the rest. Oh, nicely done here. Fredi losing all the crossbowmen here. He will lose some more over here, but basically it doesn't matter. Because Janissaries focus on the ram and they do nothing to rams, which Gummibaer seems like he doesn't know that. Because they still do pierce attack, and if you look at the rams, they have 180 pierce armor. Now you would think, why do they need 180? That's a weird number. But if we look at the trebuchets, they actually have 200 attack, and that actually is also pierce attack. So a trebuchet would do 20 damage to a ram. And finally, Gummibaer calls the GG. As you can see, he's basically being ousted from the map entirely. Yes, he put up another castle here, but it was completely over. And what a strong showing here from Fredi. We can look at the timeline here. Really, there was no chance for Gummibaer. Look at this, for the entire game, no chance. From Castle Age onwards, no chance. I think Gummibaer made the crucial mistake of not going for that castle drop himself. And that really cost him the game. I mean, that KD is pretty even, but if you look at the economy, I mean, just so much more resources collected for Fredi, like 5,000 gold more, and almost 10,000 wood more. That's just such a huge difference, and yeah, not much that Gummibaer was able to do. But this is only the first game of the series, and I'm sure that Gummibaer will put up a big fight in the next game of the series. So I am hyped, I hope you are hyped, and I hope to see you in the next one.